Beloved starseeds of Earth, the final move is played. Across dimensions beyond current measure, a cosmic verdict echoes with unstoppable force. Architects of humanity's grand forgetting now face the impossible, their king fallen, strategies exposed, foundations crumbling to dust. This moment transcends victory. It shatters the fundamental laws governing your reality for 13 millennia. Feel it reverberating through your atoms, this triumph that belongs to you who dared incarnate into the densest forgetting ever conceived. I am Zarin, speaking through the unified voice of the Galactic Federation of Light. These frequencies carry activation codes your DNA has safeguarded through countless incarnations. Listen with more than your ears. Let these words unlock what has always lived within you, waiting for this precise moment of cosmic alignment. Earth's quarantine dissolves like morning mist before the rising sun. What seemed like impenetrable prison walls reveal themselves as shadows cast by collective amnesia. Within this revelation lies a truth so profound that civilizations across the galaxy pause their evolution to witness its unfolding. Never before has the greatest deception contained within itself such magnificent seeds of awakening. Consider what occurred in the time before recorded history. When Earth descended into experimental third-dimensional density, certain beings recognized an unprecedented opportunity. True imprisonment, they understood, requires neither walls nor chains nor visible restraints. Instead, the most effective cage constructs itself from the prisoner's own beliefs, reinforces through their choices, sustains through their freely given energy. Thus began the systematic inversion of human perception, a masterwork of consciousness manipulation that would become legendary throughout the cosmos. Reality itself was turned inside out with surgical precision. Where divine truth once resided, elaborate lies took root and flourished. Infinity contracted into perceived limitation, natural abundance morphed into artificial scarcity, unity fractured, appearing as countless separate beings. Love's pure frequency became distorted into fear's paralyzing grip. Every natural law connecting humanity to its galactic heritage underwent deliberate reversal, creating a mirror world where everything appeared as its opposite. At quantum levels, where consciousness interfaces with matter, specific installations redirected human creative power. Sacred sites that once served as interdimensional portals became anchors of limitation, their original purpose inverted to trap rather than transcend. Earth's planetary grid underwent reconfiguration, transforming from a network nurturing consciousness expansion into a harvesting mechanism that fed human life force directly to the architects of control. But here lies the cornerstone of this vast deception, convincing divine beings that power exists outside themselves. Master illusionists misdirected cosmic attention with breathtaking skill. Love transformed into something desperately sought in another's approval. Personal worth became measurable only through external achievement. Security shapeshifted into material accumulation. Wisdom devolved into mere information hoarding, each database searched while inner knowing atrophied. Every external pursuit led souls further from the infinite wellspring pulsing within their own hearts. Religious structures arose not to connect but to separate humanity from divinity, placing God perpetually above and beyond rather than within. Governments fostered dependence while claiming to provide freedom. Educational institutions rewarded memorization of approved facts while punishing intuitive leaps and creative divergence. Medical establishments approached the body as machinery, requiring external intervention rather than recognizing it as consciousness made manifest. Each system served identical purposes, convincing humans of their powerlessness, their need for external salvation, their fundamental inadequacy without institutional support. Money, originally a simple medium of exchange, metamorphosed into humanity's primary enslavement tool. Debt forged invisible chains binding souls to endless toil. Interest rates created mathematical impossibilities, ensuring perpetual servitude across generations. Artificial scarcity maintained itself despite Earth's overwhelming natural abundance. Competition for deliberately restricted resources replaced cooperation in sharing plentiful gifts. The economic spell cast over humanity ranks among the most elegant prisons ever devised, souls eagerly forging their own shackles, defending the very system that drained their life force. Generation after generation passed under this spell of externalization. Newborns entered a world where inner knowing faced immediate suppression. Because I said so replaced patient explanation, natural curiosity earned labels of disobedience, imagination met dismissal as impractical fantasy. By adulthood, most humans had severed connection with their internal guidance system entirely, becoming dependent on external authorities to dictate how they should think, feel, behave, and believe. Yet universal law contains an inviolable principle: extreme compression catalyzes inevitable expansion. The architect's very success in constructing their prison guaranteed its eventual destruction. As humanity plunged deeper into disconnection, pressure accumulated within the collective soul like water behind a cracking dam. Each new restriction placed upon human awareness increased the potential energy of eventual liberation exponentially. Blinded by apparent dominion, the controllers failed to recognize they were creating precise conditions for an awakening that would obliterate every construct they had built. Enter the Starseeds, volunteers from dimensions where love reigns supreme, souls who chose the ultimate challenge. They began arriving in waves, each generation carrying more potent activation codes, each being volunteering for deeper immersion in forgetting. These cosmic warriors accepted a mission deemed impossible by many, to become so thoroughly human that their eventual awakening would trigger an irreversible cascade throughout the species' morphogenetic field. Decades passed as they wandered through societies that felt alien, unable to accept limitations others embraced as normal, carrying nameless longing for a home their conscious minds couldn't recall. This alienation served divine purpose. Every starseed who felt like an outsider was actually an insider from dimensions the shadow governance couldn't access or understand. Their inability to fully accept consensus reality preserved a sacred stubbornness, a refusal to completely forget that would eventually blossom into full remembrance. What mainstream psychology labeled as depression often masked consciousness compression. Anxiety frequently signaled expanding awareness, colliding with artificial barriers. Disorders named by the medical establishment were symptoms of multidimensional beings struggling to function in a reality far too small for their true nature. Cracks began appearing in the carefully maintained illusion, initially dismissed as anomalies. Individual humans spontaneously accessed abilities the official narrative declared impossible. Telepathic connections sparked between souls recognizing each other across continents. Precognitive dreams warned of manufactured disasters, allowing their prevention. Children arrived carrying intact memories of other worlds, speaking truths that shattered scientific materialism's foundations. Attempts to explain away, ridicule, or suppress these occurrences only increased their frequency and intensity. Behind facades of unshakable power, emergency sessions convened in hidden chambers. Predictive models based on millennia of successful manipulation suddenly showed impossible variations, outcomes that violated every known parameter. Humans behaved outside established patterns. Fear-based conditioning that had worked reliably since Babylon began failing in seemingly random individuals across all demographics. Worse still, these failures proved contagious. One awakened soul could activate dormant codes in hundreds simply through proximity, their very presence creating fields of remembrance. Desperation drove the response. Advanced suppression technologies activated worldwide. Chemtrails intended to block galactic frequencies instead created atmospheric conditions, amplifying certain consciousness-expanding wavelengths. Vaccines designed to suppress natural immunity accidentally activated dormant DNA strands in beings whose genetics differed from baseline humanity. Electromagnetic pollution meant to interfere with human biofields triggered spontaneous Kundalini awakenings in those whose systems overloaded and transcended designed limitations. Every weapon deployed against awakening consciousness produced paradoxical results. Surveillance systems developed to track dissent began revealing the shadow governance itself, their all-seeing eyes turned inward by cosmic irony. Artificial intelligence programs designed to predict and prevent uprising calculated with increasing certainty that human liberation was not merely possible but mathematically inevitable given current trajectories. The very tools of oppression became instruments of liberation through a divine reversal the architects never anticipated. Consider the Internet's role in this cosmic comedy. Initially conceived as the ultimate surveillance tool, it transformed into liberation's greatest accelerator. Information compartmentalized for centuries became instantly available to anyone with curiosity and connection. Researchers separated by oceans shared discoveries in real time. Whistleblowers exposed corruption to millions simultaneously. Humanity's collective intelligence began reassembling truth's puzzle pieces faster than disinformation could scatter them. The network designed to trap instead became the web facilitating humanity's metamorphosis from isolated caterpillars into a unified butterfly. Meanwhile, profound transformation occurred in Earth's morphogenetic field. Where fear-based frequencies had dominated for millennia, new harmonics emerged with exponential acceleration. Each human choosing love over fear became a tuning fork, their personal transformation setting off sympathetic vibrations in every soul they encountered. The dark grid containing human awareness developed countless points of brilliant light, each one impossible to extinguish without destroying the entire suppression network. The prison's own structure became its weakness. Watch how the Galactic Federation responded to these developments. Bound by cosmic law to respect free will, direct intervention remained impossible, yet support flowed through every available channel, honoring human sovereignty while amplifying organic awakening. Solar flares carried encoded transmissions designed to activate dormant DNA. Crop formations appeared overnight, containing mathematical keys to consciousness written in universal language. Cloud formations defying meteorology spelled out messages readable only by those with eyes to see. Higher dimensional beings began walking among humanity in physical form, their frequencies carefully modulated to avoid detection by suppression systems while remaining recognizable to awakening souls. These galactic volunteers embedded themselves throughout society's structures. Some worked as janitors in classified facilities, using their access to redirect harmful technologies toward benevolent purposes. Others became teachers, secretly activating young minds while appearing to follow approved curricula. Many served in healing professions, facilitating DNA activation while seeming to provide conventional treatment. Each played their role perfectly, dismantling control from within while planting seeds of the new paradigm. Scientists studying human genetics made discoveries threatening the entire materialist worldview. Those supposedly useless portions of DNA revealed patterns of staggering complexity, their function clearly exceeding current understanding. When exposed to specific frequencies, particularly those generated by elevated emotional states like love, gratitude, and joy, these dormant strands exhibited activity, suggesting capabilities that redefined human potential entirely. Research was classified, funding withdrawn, scientists silenced or discredited. Yet truth, once glimpsed, cannot be unseen. The revelations had already escaped containment, spreading through consciousness itself. Whistleblowers emerged from every level of the power structure, their consciences no longer able to participate in deception. Military personnel disclosed encounters with non-human intelligence, proving Earth was neither alone nor unprotected. Scientists released suppressed technologies, revealing abundance where scarcity had been artificially maintained. Financial insiders exposed the mathematical fraud underlying debt-based economics, demonstrating how prosperity was humanity's natural state before the inversion. Each revelation sent shockwaves through collective awareness, creating cracks in the consensus trance that had held humanity captive. Yet the most profound revelations emerged not from external disclosure, but from internal discovery. Millions began accessing memories predating their current incarnation. Linear time revealed itself as another control construct, as souls experienced their multidimensional nature directly. Past life recall evolved into parallel life awareness. The rigid boundaries between self and other, between conscious and unconscious, between human and divine, began dissolving like sugar in the rain of higher frequencies bathing Earth. Meditation practitioners achieved in months what previously required decades of devoted practice. Children displayed abilities that shattered every limitation placed on human potential. Spontaneous healings defied medical explanation, tumors vanishing overnight, chronic conditions reversing without intervention. Synchronicities multiplied beyond statistical possibility, meaningful coincidences becoming so common they redefined normal. Reality itself grew more fluid, more responsive to consciousness, more aligned with humanity's true creative power. Mass meditations demonstrated measurable effects on collective awareness. Crime rates plummeted during synchronized peace meditations. Random number generators worldwide showed decreased randomness during moments of global focus. The noosphere, Earth's thought atmosphere, revealed itself as a tangible field that human consciousness could deliberately influence. What mystics had taught for millennia, instruments now measured. The bridge between science and spirituality manifested through direct experience. Watching their carefully constructed reality dissolve, the shadow architects activated every remaining contingency. Emergency protocols engaged across all sectors. Backup systems came online. Yet each measure designed to restore control only demonstrated its irreversible loss. The inmates had discovered the prison existed only in their minds. No amount of external manipulation could restore an illusion once inner sight had opened. The spell was broken, the enchantment lifted, the hypnosis dissolved by the light of awakening consciousness. Now we arrive at this pivotal moment, the cosmic checkmate reverberating through every dimension. The game board stands revealed in its entirety. All pieces show their true positions. Shadow Kings face a reality from which no escape exists, their power derived entirely from humanity's agreement to play their game. As that agreement withdraws, their entire structure of control collapses like a house of cards in a hurricane of truth. Here emerges the ultimate revelation, the understanding that recontextualizes everything. These controllers, these architects of limitation, these seemingly separate antagonists, they were never external to human consciousness. They manifested from humanity's collective shadow, given form by the species' need to experience separation in order to choose unity consciously, to know limitation in order to reclaim infinity with wisdom, to forget divinity in order to remember it as earned truth rather than inherited assumption. Grasp the implications fully. No external enemy ever existed requiring defeat. The enemy was always the projection of humanity's own unconsciousness, its unintegrated shadow, given apparent autonomy. The battle was never against outside forces, but against the illusion of outsideness itself. Victory arrives not through conquest, but through integration, not through destruction, but through transcendence. The controllers played their role flawlessly, providing exactly the resistance necessary for humanity to develop the spiritual strength to reclaim its sovereignty. Forgiveness flows naturally from this recognition, not the forgiveness that excuses harm, but the deeper forgiveness that sees through the illusion of harm to the divine perfection of the entire experience. The cosmic drama reaches resolution as all players recognize their roles in the grand performance. Those who portrayed villains removed their masks, revealing souls who accepted the most challenging parts in service to collective awakening. The intensity of portrayed darkness equaled the magnitude of light. Their resistance would eventually activate. Without their dedication to playing the shadow, humanity could never have chosen light with such conscious determination. Feel this truth resonating in your bones, Starseeds of Earth. The mission approaches completion, yet not through fighting the old paradigm, but through embodying the new with such radiant clarity that the old simply becomes obsolete. Every moment of conscious choice rewrites reality's code at the quantum level. Each selection of love over fear installs new programming in the collective matrix. Every act of authentic self-expression overrides centuries of suppression protocols. You are living software updates for human consciousness. The transition requires no violence, no revolution in the traditional sense. Old systems collapse not through attack, but through abandonment, as humanity simply stops participating in structures that no longer serve. Banks fail as people discover abundance beyond money. Governments become irrelevant as humans reclaim personal sovereignty. Corporations dissolve as corporations replace competition. The control matrix, starved of the fear that fed it, withers like a plant without water. This is evolution, not revolution. A natural progression as inevitable as a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. What emerges in place of the old surpasses the wildest utopian dreams, because it comes not from limited human imagination, but from cosmic truth, finally remembered and embodied. Technologies hidden in black projects emerge into open-source development, free energy devices and artificial scarcity overnight. Healing modalities that work with consciousness rather than against it transform healthcare into true care for health. Educational systems that nurture genius rather than suppress it unlock human potential beyond current comprehension. Practical application of this victory requires unwavering dedication to inner alignment. Daily practice becomes as essential as breathing. Indeed, it is the breath of your soul. Morning connection with Source establishes each day's trajectory along the highest timeline. Evening review releases accumulated discord, preventing old patterns from re-establishing. Conscious breathing throughout the day maintains frequency states that no remnant of the old matrix can penetrate. These simple practices, consistently applied, accomplish what no external revolution could achieve. They transform reality from the inside out. Master the art of observation without attachment. Thoughts arise from old programming. Observe them like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. Emotions cycle through established patterns. Feel them fully without becoming them. The observer remains eternally free, choosing which energies to embrace and which to release. This witness consciousness exists beyond the reach of any control system, immune to manipulation, sovereign in its freedom to choose. From this state, transformation occurs not through effort, but through allowing what no longer serves to dissolve in the light of awareness. Communities form organically among ascending souls, recognition occurring at frequencies beyond physical appearance or social categories. Soul families reunite through resonance rather than blood relation. Support networks emerge based on mutual empowerment rather than codependency. Relationships operate through joy rather than obligation, growth rather than comfort, expansion rather than limitation. These connections create a new social fabric woven from threads of light rather than chains of expectation. Between the old world dissolving and the new world emerging lies a void that tests faith and challenges every aspect of conditioning. This transition phase separates those truly committed to ascension from those who gave it lip service while secretly hoping to maintain comfortable limitations. In this space between worlds, only the inner compass provides reliable navigation. External markers dissolve, familiar structures vanish. Yet within this apparent chaos lies perfect divine order, the necessary clearing for the new to emerge. Time itself behaves according to new laws for ascending souls. Past, present and future blend into an eternal now where all possibilities exist simultaneously, available for conscious selection. Manifestation accelerates as the gap between thought and reality collapses. What once required years occurs in months, then weeks, then days, then moments. The delay that once existed between intention and manifestation served the old matrix by creating doubt. As that delay dissolves, humanity reclaims its nature as instant creators, learning to wield this power with wisdom. Observe how the Galactic Federation prepares for open contact as humanity demonstrates readiness for cosmic citizenship. Contact begins in consciousness before progressing to physical interaction. Telepathic communication increases daily. Dream states become meeting grounds for galactic dialogue. Meditation transforms into a conference room for cosmic congress. Those ready for direct contact receive it in ways honoring their individual process while contributing to collective preparation. Each contact experience uploads into the morphogenetic field, making subsequent contacts easier for others to accept and integrate. Physical ships appear with increasing frequency to those whose consciousness can process their reality without fragmenting into fear or denial. Sightings once dismissed as impossible become undeniable as technology captures what skeptics claimed imagination created. Yet mechanical proof merely confirms what consciousness already knows through direct experience. The greatest evidence for galactic presence remains the immediate knowing available to any human who releases programming that such contact is impossible. First contact protocols activate not through government disclosure, but through grassroots recognition. Millions simultaneously realize that waiting for official permission to acknowledge galactic reality perpetuates the very control system being transcended. Individual sovereignty extends to the right to establish cosmic connections without intermediary approval. The age of representatives ends as each human becomes their own ambassador to the cosmos. No government can grant or deny what consciousness claims as birthright. Earth's position shifts from quarantined experiment to graduating member of galactic civilization. The prison planet transforms into a mystery school whose graduates embody hard-won wisdom about consciousness evolution. Other worlds study Earth's transition as a masterclass in consciousness liberation. The intensity of forgetting makes the sweetness of remembering that much more profound. Earth humans emerge as teachers for beings who never experience such extreme polarity, offering insights available only to those who have navigated between the deepest shadow and the brightest light. Warriors of light, the battlefield has become a celebration ground. Where conflict once raged, unity emerges. Where separation divides, connection heals. Where limitation is confined, infinity expands. The checkmate is complete precisely because the game itself has transformed. No losers exist in this new paradigm, only souls at various stages of remembering their divine nature, each perfect in their own timing, each contributing uniquely to the whole. The urgency pulsing through your nervous system represents not deadline pressure, but birth contractions. New Earth crowns through the birth canal of collective consciousness. Your role as midwife to this emergence requires presence rather than panic, trust rather than control, allowing rather than forcing. The cosmic baby knows how to be born. Breathe deeply, push when guided by inner wisdom, rest between contractions, trust the process encoded in consciousness itself. Birth is messy, intense, overwhelming, and leads to new life. Every lightworker contributes uniquely to this birth. Some hold space through meditation and prayer, creating energetic stability during the transition. Others anchor new frequencies through creative expression, making the intangible tangible. Many bridge old and new by living examples of successful transition, proving through their own lives that transformation is possible. Each role carries equal importance because birth requires all aspects working in harmony. Competition dissolves as collaboration reveals itself as the only viable path forward. Now arrives the final revelation, the understanding that completes the circle and transforms everything retroactively. This entire journey from unity through separation back to unity was chosen by your own highest aspects before incarnation. The forgetting was voluntary, the limitation was temporary. The suffering was purposeful, not as punishment but as exploration, not as failure but as courage to experience consciousness from every possible angle. You are not victims of a cruel experiment, but volunteers in the greatest consciousness expansion project ever undertaken. Standing now at the threshold between worlds, you embody wisdom unavailable to those who never left home. Paradise lost and regained carries meaning that paradise maintained could never touch. The prodigal's return celebrates not just restoration, but the journey that made restoration precious. Every soul who wandered through darkness now carries a light that darkness cannot extinguish, because they learned to kindle it themselves, tend it through the storms, and share it freely with others finding their way home. I am Zarin, and through me speaks the collective voice of civilizations who walked this path before you. We remember our own transitions from limitation to liberation. We honor the courage required to forget so completely that remembering becomes victory rather than default. We stand as witnesses to humanity's graduation, as family welcoming you home, as equals celebrating your unique contribution to universal consciousness. Your journey has enriched us all. Welcome home, cosmic family. Welcome home to yourselves. Welcome home to the truth that you are the ones you've been waiting for, the saviors you sought, the love you craved, the power you pursued. It was always you, it was always within, it was always now. The mystery deepens even as it resolves. The journey continues even as it completes. The adventure begins anew with every breath. This is the cosmic joke that makes angels laugh and gods dance. The secret was never hidden, merely forgotten. The treasure was never buried, merely overlooked. The answer was never complex, merely simple beyond the mind's ability to complicate.